Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Low Budget Review Show. I am your host, Eric Smith, and today I am talking about Fear by Ronald Kelly. This copy, is from Zebra, way back in the day, part of my Spooktober reading as voted on by about 6 or 7 people. So in Fear, our main character is 10-year-old Jeb Sweeney. This takes place in the Tennessee backwoods shortly after World War II, and we're introduced to, we have a cold open with some crazy stuff going on. Then we're introduced to Jeb Sweeney, the town he lives in, his family, the people he knows. There's a traveling blues player named Roscoe, I believe. Yes. And so Jeb, 10-year-old boy, getting bullied. We meet Roscoe. We learn Jeb lives with his grandmother and his father, who essentially sustained brain damage in World War II, and so is very childlike, doesn't even know that Jeb is his son. Very sad. And there's some animal killings and then some people disappearances going on around town. And I found it funny on the back cover. So it says, "Where are the children? It was a legend in Fear County, a hideous flesh-eating creature that feasted on the blood of innocent children in the cold black heart of the Tennessee backwoods. But 10-year-old Jeb Sweeney knows the horrible stories are true. His best friend, Mandy, just up and disappeared." So I find this amusing because when we're introduced to Mandy, she wants nothing to do with Jeb. They eventually, some things happen and they become friends. Maybe, at 10 years old, they're going to be boyfriend and girlfriend, 10-year-old. But that's like a day before she disappears. So then it says his best friend Mandy on the back cover, I thought was kind of funny. But Mandy does disappear. And now Jeb wants to, first of all, Jeb wants to figure out what's going on. Once he does, he wants to help put a stop to it. And so there's going to be a trek into Fear County. So that was a pretty big nutshell, I suppose. In my weekly wrap up, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, well, at the point this video airs, possibly 3 weeks ago, I was talking about how I think there are some authors who should be as well known or as well read as Stephen King. I posed the question to people, why do you think Stephen King is as well known and some of these other authors aren't? Is it just all the movies that are being made? Is it the publicity that he gets? Because I had read Vampiric by Simon Clarke, and that's the review that will be up before this one. And after reading Vampiric and then reading this, oh, by the way, I guess I forgot, for the too long didn't watch folks, 5 out of 5 stars. Absolutely loved it. So, after reading Vampiric, reading this, I just couldn't stop wondering why Vampiric isn't as well known as, say, Salem's Lot. Not saying it's as good, but it's been years since I've read Salem's Lot. But I think it's a great vampire novel, and I think this is a great coming-of-age story. Ronald Kelly not only gives us a great cavalcade of characters, but he makes Tennessee, especially post-war Tennessee, as much of a living, breathing place as Stephen King does with New England, Maine, whatever area you want to give him. We could just say Castle Rock or Derry, but I'm opening it up to Maine/New England. Um, Ronald Kelly does that. He you can feel the heat, and Jeb Sweeney, such a great character, and a lot of stuff in this book hit me right in the feels. So I have to care about your character, and Ronald Kelly makes you care about the characters. The kids, especially Jeb Sweeney, since he's our main character, are like kids. The adults, with the exception of Jeb's dad, behave like adults. Excuse me. And the creature, I mean, it tells you there's a creature. The creature is horrifying, and the creature, it's sprinkled in enough that you never lose sight of that. There's a lot of that character building and sort of day-to-day stuff going on, as you would have with Stephen King. But then we'll get, here's something with the creature. And now here's more with Jeb dealing with this, or this character dealing with this. Here's some more of the creature. Just well-paced. Another book I did not want to put down. I wanted to see where it was going to go, what was going to happen. There was something I expected that it's the way something I expected happened, but then there was a little something extra that I didn't even think of potentially happening. And is it a spoiler? There's a point in the story where Jeb, Roscoe, Jeb's father, and his dog, Jeb's dog, have to go to through Fear County, which is described as just an evil place. It's the vegetation is twisted. There are creatures there that shouldn't exist in the real world. The people are horrible, murderous people. And it's so well described, and it becomes a hero's quest kind of story, and I just thought it was fantastic. 5 out of 5 stars. I loved it. Great characters, great pacing, great creatures, and not saying, well, I am saying, I don't know why this isn't spoken of in the same breath as Stephen King's works. And there are authors that are relatively well known, possibly Stephen King-ish level, especially if we sort of step outside of horror. There's 1 or 2 authors that are Stephen King level who don't write this well. But that's all sort of neither here nor there. Fear, 5 out of 5. Ronald Kelly, absolutely fantastic book. And so, if you like this book, or if this is the kind of thing that interests you, some recommendations. Right off the bat, one of the first things I thought of is The Talisman by Stephen King and Peter Straub. It's got a young protagonist who's going on a quest for certain reasons. I don't want to make comparisons to the reasons between that quest and the quest here, but that was one of the first books that came to mind when I was trying to think of something to compare it to. Basically any coming of age story, although a lot of, in my experience, a lot of coming of age stories even in horror, sort of revolve around a mystery of some sort. This young kid found a dead body, and now they're either the killer's after them, or whatever did it is after them, or they're trying to solve it. There's quite a few like that. Sometimes there might be a supernatural element. Sometimes it's more of a thriller type of book. Um, but this, I think this, and the reason I go with the Talisman is there's a whole almost archetypal hero's journey going on in those books. And I was trying to think of some others, and I was going to throw out just some other coming of age stories. But I don't know. I think I'm just going to stick with the Talisman because nothing else quite like it is coming to mind. But I'm getting old and I forget a lot of stuff. If you can think of any, let me know in the comments below. And that's it. I don't have a question, except can you think of any coming of age stories that are closer to, say, this and the Talisman with the hero's quest or hero's journey versus the coming of age, even it is considered, I think, a coming of age story, but it doesn't have quite the same. Well, it does have kind of a hero's journey, but it's just going into the sewers. All right. If you have any ideas, if you have any idea at all what I'm talking about, but if you have any ideas for other books, please put those in the comments below. If you have any comments, questions, or corrections, please put those in the comments below. Comments are open for spoilers. Just post a spoiler warning. We try to be polite here at the Low Budget Review Show. Please like, share, and subscribe, all the usual YouTube stuff. If you'd care to follow me on other social media, my Twitter is @Ronan5757. My Instagram, where I post pictures of books, comic books, board games, fuzzy animals, is ErikSmith5757. That's Eric with a K, ERIKSMITH5757. On Blue Sky, where I almost never post, but occasionally, I am @ELSmith. That's all I have for you. This has been the Low Budget Review Show. I have been Erik Smith, and until next time, read more books.